Welcome to episode 2 of Art History or Simplified. In this episode, we'll be talking about IVC. No, not Indian Tobacco Company ITC, IVC, Indus Valley Civilization, beginning from 3300 BC to 1300 BC. A little disclaimer here. Everything we know about Indus Valley is from archaeological findings only. More than 1500 sites have been discovered till now, but little to no evidence of how it began or how it ended. So the dates could be a bit off. But what makes a civilization? In the last episode, we talked about prehistoric tribes migrating from cave to cave. But what made those tribes settle down and start their own community? Side note, gorilla tribes do the same thing, use up all the resources of one area and they migrate down to more greener pastures. RIP legend. The answer lies in Chalcolithic era or Copper Age, 5000 BC to 3500 BC. At the time, primitive man wasn't only making metallic tools and objects, but also started building stable structures and started growing their own food. This smart move changed everything. Instead of being nomadic, now they can settle down in areas full of resources, such as near the rivers. And that takes us back to the question, what makes a civilization? Well, civilization. Four things. Number one, surplus amount of food production for population of any size. Number two, formation of cities around that area. Number three, trading of any size or any kind. And number four, unity under a belief system of any kind. Could be religious, could be text, or aliens. Rivers are the best friends of civilization as they fulfill the first criteria of civilization, surplus amount of food production. That's why every early civilization is found along the rivers. Indus rivers for Indus Valley, Tigris and Euphrates for Mesopotamia, Nile for Egypt, Amazon for Mayans, and so forth. This episode is all about Indus Valley civilization, so we'll focus on that. Indus Valley river systems or Sindhu river systems plays a very vital role in development of a civilization. Indus rivers were reliable. They flooded twice a year, making things easier for farmers to farm and travelers to travel on it. River flooding brings nutrients to the silt, making the soil fertile and easier for food production. With reliable food source, humans started to settle down in large numbers along the rivers, giving birth to cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro and other 1500 sites, fulfilling the second criteria of the civilization, cities. And one of them is Lothal, which is just 3 hours away from Baroda. So if you are in Baroda and want to go on a long drive, consider Lothal. Biggest discoveries of IVC are the well-planned cities and drainage systems, which fascinates and inspires city planners even today. Most of the cities are laid out in rectangular grids with enough spaces between them for a good wind flow. There are even evidence for multi-story houses with streets and gravity-based drainage systems running underneath the city, dumping everything outside the city. And at Lothal, which is near Khambat seaboard, archaeologists have identified a large structure as a dockyard where Indus Valley people could control water levels. Again, it's just a theory. If there is enough evidence for it to be true, that opens a whole new possibility of Indus Valley people traveling and trading through sea routes. And that takes us to the third criteria of any civilization, trading. More than 2,000 to 3,000 artifacts such as sculptures, jewelry and seals have been found, proving the trading relationships between Indus Valley and Mesopotamia. One of the most famous examples is of the bearded man of Mohenjo-daro. The features puzzled many archaeologists for years, but was later revealed that the statue is of Mesopotamian origins. The carving features of the face and the floral pattern on the clothes are very similar to Mesopotamian art, which we'll discuss in the next episode. क्या फर्क है तुम में और मुझ में?
अंतर है माम, तुझे मोहनजोदारो पे राज करना है और मुझे सेवा।
हारो करना, खेती कर, ईंटें बना, मेरे साथ मेसोपोटामिया चल, धंधा करना है, धंधा कर मेरे साथ. By the way, why am I in this video? I'm not even from Indus Valley. I'm from Mesopotamia. Why am I in this video?
Found you in Mohenjo-daro.
I was on a vacation. Another evidence are the seals, smaller in size, almost like coins, filled with crazy and integrated designs and patterns, scattered all across the 1500 sites, are a very important tool to understand Indus Valley culture and their trading system. More than 2000 seals and impressions have been found till date. Here I want to slow down a little bit to explain you about the importance of language and archaeology, either written records or in this case, unreadable records. Indus Valley civilization can still be called a prehistoric civilization, even if it's stupid to say, because there is no written record of any day-to-day life or culture. They are trade records, but that's it. The inscriptions on the seals, you may say, they are the only thing which can be called language or script. And because it's a dead language and no one can read or decipher it, it's of no use to any archaeologist or researcher. But there's hope. Mesopotamian trade records.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Okay.
You have to understand, seals only contain a little bit of information which could possibly be about either the place or the origin of the seal, the ranking of the officer or status of the goods being supplied. Something we see in Mauryan Empire as well. Do In Mesopotamian trade records of Sumerian era, archaeologists found mentions of places like Mulumum and wait for it, Jambudweep. Sounds familiar. Archaeologists even found a continuous exchange for copper of Mesopotamia for cotton of Indus Valley. Whoa, wait. So the seals are of no use? Ha, idiot. Seals are still very important. They contain iconography and integrate design patterns which needs to be deciphered and understood more in depth. Yes, the three most famous seals are the Indus bull, the horned animal, and Pasupatinath. The Indus bull and the horned animal, aka Eksinga, but then somebody come up and say that's dumb. I mean, the animal is just standing in profile, so it's Tusinga. It could be Tusinga, and then they change the name to the horned animal. Are theorized to represent two different Indus Valley cities in trade relations. Change of script on top and the use of two different mammals could be considered that totem or spiritual symbols of those cities. Of what cities, we'll never know. The third one is very important, the Pasupatinath seal. The Pasupatinath seal depicts a human in horn headgear sitting in between a bull and a tiger, representing his control over these two powerful animals. Side note, Pasupatinath, so Pasu means animal and Nath means Lord, so Pasupatinath means Lord of the animals. Yeah. This seal has fascinated more people than ever. Some call it the first depiction of Shiva and or a King Shiva, which was later idealized and mythicized as the Adi Dev, the first god Shiva. It's all theories and stories. It's just a theory, a history theory. And that takes to the fourth and final criteria of any civilization, unity under a belief system. Could be a religion, text, or aliens. I can explain these concepts more in the Mesopotamian civilization, which is in the next episode, but I'll try my best here. Archaeologists believe that a common depiction of animals on seals and seals like Pasupatinath can be an evidence stating that Indus Valley people believed in totemism. Totemism, a belief system in which a tribe or a kin have a mystical relationship with a spiritual entity, could be an animal, plant, or river. This entity or totem is believed to have interacted with the group and be their guiding spirit and tell them to make them their totem or symbol. Or in other words, I got to be. I got to wipe you. Yeah, okay. Another example could be of a bathroom. Yes, the bathroom. The biggest structure of entire Indus Valley civilization is a giant community pool known as the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro. The question about its existence is still puzzling to many archaeologists, but most of archaeologists have agreed to the popular theory that the Great Bath is for ritual use, such as how modern Hindus do Ganga Snan. Guys, this thought was first presented by a Western archaeologist who didn't realize that the Great Bath is actually a pool and Maganga is a river, and the whole philosophy behind that is way different than the Great Bath. But if you are one of those people who believe this theory, you can even connect it with the Greek bath and the Roman baths. Like, you know, we can connect everything from everywhere. So I digress. Again, no one can factually prove the actual use of the pool, and there are some crazy theories out there, alright? Yup, that's the crazy one. Other crazy sets of theories are about how the civilization ended or even began. The theory that I presented in this video, that it began from Chalcolithic, is still an unproven theory and has a lot of gaps in it. But for the ending of the civilization, there are three popular theories. A massive earthquake shifted the river structure of entire Indus Valley, causing more droughts and famine, leading to what Indus Valley has become today, a dry land.
Another one.
Conquest. Archaeologists found zero to no evidence of any weapons or war history, and with no weapons or military record, it becomes very easier to invade and cause mayhem.
Another one.
Environmental disaster. This theory connects with the first one, that due to man-made causes famine happened. Again, these are just theories and they have their own claims and they have their own gaps and loopholes. Comment down below what you think could have happened. It will be fun to reading through all your conspiracy and all your crazy ideas. So this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, subscribing. Please share this video with your friends. Tell them to subscribe as well. Right now we are at 120 subscribers, but let's go for 1020 subscribers. There will be links to the resources which I found useful. It includes Wikipedia. I know Wikipedia is not as reliable as your college library or your teachers, but it's a good beginning point if you are interested. I'll see you next week with Mesopotamian civilization. This is Kavya Kumar Bhatt. So, before I go, you can buy my merch and products to show your support to the channel. It helps me sustain on YouTube and in real life. But if you can't afford it, it's totally okay. By sharing my channel and telling others to subscribe is a kind and supportive gesture as well. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next week with Mesopotamian civilization. This is Kavya Kumar Bhatt signing off.